Hello students, welcome to Easy Science YouTube channel. Our today's topic is human digestive system. So before going to the topic, please subscribe to Easy Science YouTube channel and click the bell icon. So you will never miss an update from my channel. So let's move to our topic, that is human digestive system. So our today's topic is human digestive system. What do you mean by digestion? See, we all need energy to do our daily activities, like day-to-day activities. We need some energy. From where we get energy? We eat food. Food provides us energy. But the food we are eating contains complex substances which cannot be utilized by the body. They has to be break down into simple substances in order to provide energy to our body. So the process of breakdown of complex substances into simple substances with the help of enzymes is known as digestion. So we are discussing about human digestion. So the system, human digestive system, is very complex in nature. Different parts are involved to perform different functions by using different digestive juices and enzymes. So the digestive system is generally called as alimentary canal, and we also call it as gut. It's a long tube which contains different parts, which starts from mouth and ends with anus. So now the diagrammatic representation of our digestive system, which contains different parts. It starts with mouth and ends with anus. And we have different parts here. Like these are the three pairs of salivary glands: esophagus, stomach, liver, pancreas, gallbladder, small intestine, large intestine, appendix, rectum, and anus. Mouth. The process of digestion starts inside the mouth and ends in the anus. So these are the parts of our digestive system. So let's discuss what happens in each and every part of our digestive system. The process of digestion will start in the mouth. Whenever food enters into the mouth, there are three pairs of salivary glands inside the mouth. They secrete a digestive juice. The salivary gland secretes a digestive juice called as saliva. The digestive juice secreted by salivary glands is known as saliva, which contains digestive enzymes. What are the digestive enzymes present in the saliva? They are salivary amylase or ptyalin and lysozyme. Two enzymes are present inside the saliva. They are salivary amylase or ptyalin and lysozyme. And inside the mouth we have teeth. So whenever food enters into the mouth, the food is cut and crushed by our teeth and is thoroughly mixed with saliva because it contains enzymes. That is a digestive juice which contains enzymes. So food is cut and crushed by our teeth and it is thoroughly mixed with saliva. This process is known as mastication. So what happens inside the mouth? Food is cut and crushed by our teeth and is thoroughly mixed with saliva. After that, what will happen? See, already we discussed that saliva contains digestive enzymes, salivary amylase and lysosome. Salivary amylase acts on carbohydrates and convert carbohydrates into simple substances. And lysozyme is an antibacterial enzyme because we are eating the food from outside, which contains lot of microorganisms, like disease causing organisms are present. So this lysosome is an antibacterial enzyme, kill the bacteria, harmful bacteria present inside the food. That's why, like, we observe that the animals, like generally the dogs, cats, if you observe that, they will licking their skin so many times because the saliva contains the enzyme lysosome which can kill the harmful bacteria. That's the reason animals are licking their skin for several times throughout the day. And saliva was secreted by salivary glands. So we have three pairs of salivary glands inside the mouth. So what are the three pairs of salivary glands? The first pair is known as submandibular. This is the first pair of salivary gland. It's submandibular. It is present near the jaw. And the second one is sublingual and it is present below the tongue. And the third one is parotid glands. They are present at the side of the ear. So these three pairs of salivary glands will secrete saliva which contains salivary amylase and lysozyme. Salivary amylase acts on carbohydrates and converts carbohydrates into simple substances. Lysosome is an antibacterial enzyme which can kill the bacteria, that is harmful bacteria present inside the food. Now, inside the mouth, the food is cut and crushed by our teeth and it's mixed thoroughly with the saliva. Now, the food is in semi-solid condition, right? And this is known as bolus, where some of the carbohydrates have already digested. This bolus will enters into the stomach through esophagus. Esophagus is also known as food pipe. The soft food, because it was thoroughly mixed with saliva and already some of the carbohydrates had got digested, that we called it as bolus. This soft food is called as bolus. Why we are calling this as soft food? Because it was thoroughly mixed with saliva for easy passage of the food into the stomach through esophagus. Even the walls of the esophagus also secrete mucus because saliva is not present inside the esophagus. For the easy movement of the food from esophagus into the stomach, it has to be very soft. In order to do that, the walls of the esophagus will secrete mucus in order to make the food very soft, which helps in easy passage of the food. So from mouth, food enters into the esophagus. Esophagus is also known as food pipe. Inside esophagus, digestion do not takes place. It's just pass the food from mouth to stomach. There are muscles inside the esophagus. They are circular and longitudinal muscles. The contraction and relaxation of the circular and longitudinal muscles produce a special type of movements inside the esophagus. Inside the esophagus, circular and longitudinal muscles are present, and the contraction and relaxation of circular and longitudinal muscles gives a special type of movement called peristalsis. Such movements we call it as peristalsis, which helps the movement of the food from mouth to the stomach. And even the walls of the esophagus will secrete mucus, which makes the food very soft and helps in easy passage of the food. At the end of the esophagus, at the end of the esophagus and entry of the stomach, a sphincter is present, which we called it as gastroesophageal sphincter. The sphincter is called as gastroesophageal sphincter. It is present at the end of the esophagus and at the entry of the stomach. This sphincter we called it as gastroesophageal sphincter. So what is the use of this sphincter? This sphincter allows only a small quantity of food into the stomach. When food enters into the stomach, food enters into the stomach. So whenever food enters into the stomach, gastric juice is liberated. This is also one of the digestive juice. Like inside the mouth, salivary glands secrete saliva, which is a digestive juice. Now gastric glands are present inside the stomach, which secrete the digestive juice called gastric juice. Gastric juice contains HCl acid and enzymes like pepsin and trypsin are present. Gastric juice contains hydrochloric acid and enzymes like pepsin and trypsin. So you know that hydrochloric acid is a very strong acid. So how can the stomach gets protected from its own acids, like action of its own acids? Even the walls of the stomach also secrete mucus, which protects the stomach from action of its own acids. Then why hydrochloric acid was liberating inside the stomach? That is a very strong acid, you know. And why such strong acid was liberating inside the stomach? The reason is the food we contains a lot of, the food we are eating contains a lot of microorganisms which can be killed by the action of this acid. Already some of the microorganisms have destroyed by lysosome enzyme. The remaining whatever disease causing microorganisms are there, they can be killed by the action of this acid. And the proteolytic enzymes which are present inside the stomach. Proteolytic enzymes means which helps in breakdown of the proteins, are present in inactive stage. Like pepsinogen is present. It is an inactive proteolytic enzyme that has to be converted into pepsin, which is an active enzyme of the protein. So the inactive proteolytic enzymes get converted into active enzymes by the action of hydrochloric acid. That's why whenever food enters into the stomach, gastric glands secrete gastric juice which contains hydrochloric acid, and some inactive enzymes are there. They get converted in the presence of acids. They get converted into active enzymes and break down proteins into simple substances. Now, already carbohydrate digestion takes place inside the mouth. Now, some of the protein got digested, and due to the action of the muscles, like how esophagus has muscles, even the stomach also has muscles. Due to the action of this digestive enzymes and muscles, a churning action will be takes place and convert the food into a semi-solid condition, which we called it as chyme. Now the food is in semi-solid condition, which we called it as chyme, where some of the carbohydrates and proteins have already digested. And remember the point here, carbohydrate digestion do not take place. Only proteins got digested because the stomach contains hydrochloric acid. That means it is in acidic medium. In acidic medium, the enzymes which acts on carbohydrates will be very inactive. That's why carbohydrate digestion do not take place inside the stomach. And the walls of the stomach also secrete mucus, which protects the stomach from the action of acids. So, chyme will be formed. Some of the proteins have already digested, carbohydrate digestion already done inside the mouth, and due to the action of the muscles, like churning action takes place, which convert the food into semi-solid condition, is known as chyme. So after the formation of the chyme, now the food enters into the small intestine. See, we have intestines, two types of intestine. Small intestine is there and large intestine is there. Small intestine is the longest part of the alimentary canal. But we have given the name small intestine because its width is less. It's less wider when compared to large intestine. That's why it has given the name small intestine. So now from the stomach, food has to be entered into the small intestine. Again, at the end of the stomach and at the entry of the intestine, you have another sphincter which we called it as pyloric sphincter. See, wherever sphincter in the digestive system, wherever the sphincter is present, the function of the sphincter is to allow only a small quantity of food into the next part. In order to make the process of digestion effectively, only a small quantity of food will enters into the next part of the digestive system. So I said here all the same thing. It regulates the entry of the food into the small intestine, which allows the small quantity of food into small intestine. And we already discussed that the small intestine is the longest part of the alimentary canal, and its proximal part is called duodenum. That means divided into three parts. The first part of the small intestine is known as duodenum. So it is the site of further digestion of, now where inside the mouth carbohydrate digestion takes place. Inside the stomach carbohydrate digestion do not takes place because it is in acidic medium. Whenever food enters into the small intestine, the acidic medium changes into alkaline medium and carbohydrate digestion again takes place. Already the inactive enzymes have get converted into active enzymes, so protein digestion also takes place. Even the digestion of lipids also takes place, like fats also takes place inside the small intestine. So in order to digest the fat, it receives, small intestine will receive the secretion of the liver and pancreas for this purpose. This purpose means digestion of fats, proteins and carbohydrates. Proteins, carbohydrates. Small intestine receives the secretions of liver and pancreas. Liver secretes bile juice. Liver is the largest gland of the human body. Like we have salivary gland secrete saliva, gastric gland secrete gastric juice. Like liver is one of the gland which is the largest gland of the human body. Even pancreas is also a gland. So they secrete, liver secrete bile juice and pancreas secrete pancreatic juice. And the only digestive juice which do not have enzymes is bile juice. Bile juice do not have any enzymes, rather than it has some pigments like bile rubin, bile viridin and urochrome is present inside the bile juice. So they helps in the removal of the waste materials of our body like inactive hormones like steroid hormones, cholesterols can be removed with the help of this pigments, bile pigments. These juices render the, whenever food enters into the small intestine, bile juice and pancreatic juice will change the internal condition of the intestine gradually to a basic or alkaline one, so that again the carbohydrate digestion will take place. And before going to the digestion, fats has to be converted into small globule-like forms with the help of the bile juice secreted by the liver. This process we called it as emulsification. Now pancreatic juice secreted from the pancreas, it contains enzymes like trypsin for carrying on the process of digestion of proteins and lipase for fats. Trypsin break down the proteins, lipase break down fats. And walls of the small intestine, even see bile juice is secreted from liver, pancreatic juice is secreted from the pancreas. Even the walls of the small intestine also secrete some juices, digestive juice. We called it as intestinal juice. The juice secreted by small intestine, walls of small intestine is known as intestinal juice. It was named as succus entericus. The intestinal juice is known as succus entericus, which carry the process further. That is, the small molecules of proteins are broke down into further smaller molecules. The same is the condition with fats and with carbohydrate also. Carbohydrate digestion that started in the mouth and it do not takes place inside the stomach. Again it gets started inside the small intestine only, because the condition of the food has changed from acidic to alkaline. Only in alkaline medium or basic medium only carbohydrate digestion takes place, because for the breakdown of carbohydrate into simple molecules, we need enzymes, right? The enzymes which acts on carbohydrates will be active only in alkaline medium. So these are the digestive juices in the digestive system. So mouth, salivary glands are present which secrete salivary amylase. Even lysosome also secreted, which is an antibacterial enzyme. So salivary amylase or ptyalin can act on starch. They are polysaccharides, very complex molecules, has to be break down into simple substances. So inside the stomach, gastric glands secrete gastric juice which contain pepsin and hydrochloric acid. See, I said pepsin is a proteolytic enzyme, acts on proteins. Pancreatic juice contains trypsin, lipases and amylases. Trypsin again, it's a proteolytic enzyme. Lipases, they break down fats into simple molecules. Amylase acts on starch. Even peptidases are also present. They are also proteolytic enzymes. Sucrase acts on sucrose, lactase acts on lactose. Lactose is a milk protein. Maltase acts on maltose. So several digestive enzymes are present which can convert the complex molecules into simple substances. So now the process of digestion completes inside the small intestine, right? So initially the intake of food into the mouth is known as ingestion. Process of breakdown of complex substances into simple substances is known as digestion. Ingestion, digestion. Now the process of digestion has completed inside the small intestine. The digested food has to be absorbed into the blood. The phenomena of absorption of digested food into the blood is known as absorption. So internally, intestinal wall, so which will help in the process of absorption of the digested food. The intestinal wall has a large number of finger-like projections called microvilli. The villi will increases the area of absorption, surface area of absorption. Blood vessels and lymph vessels are present in the form of a network in the villi where the digested food is directly absorbed into the blood through simple diffusion process. Thus, after maximum absorption of food in the small intestine, throughout the digested food will be absorbed inside the small intestine with the help of the villi. So, the undigested food will be passes into the large intestine. Large intestine has given the name because it's wider. It is a wider part, like stomach is considered as the wider part of the alimentary canal. When compared to the small intestine, the width of the large intestine is more. That's why it has given the name large intestine. So the undigested food will enters into the large intestine. Inside the large intestine, excess amount of water will be reabsorbed. The water present in the food has taken up by the large intestine. So now the digested food is sent outside through anus. This process is known as egestion. The undigested food will be sent outside of the body through anus. This process we called it as egestion. So total digestive system involves 4 phases. Ingestion. Taking of food into the mouth is known as ingestion. Breakdown of complex substances into simple substances is known as digestion. And the absorption after the process of digestion, like breakdown of complex substances into simple substances, the digested food has to be absorbed into the blood. This phenomena we called it as absorption. Finally, the undigested food will be sent outside through rectum and anus. This process is known as egestion. So, ingestion, digestion, absorption and egestion all together forms the digestive system. And the passage of undigested material from the body by the way of anus is known as defecation. Food that passes out of the anus still contains considerable amount of proteins, fats and carbohydrates, roughages or fibers of either carbohydrates or proteins. Roughages we called it as fibers. They may be either carbohydrates and proteins also. They help to avoid constipation. Roughages are very important in our food because they cannot be digested in our body but they prevent constipation. So this is about human digestive system. So now we'll discuss about what type of questions can be asked in this topic. What are the different parts of the digestive system? You know what are the parts of the digestive system they are asking. What are the parts? Mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, liver, pancreas, gallbladder, rectum, anus. These are the parts of the digestive system. So second question is define mastication. What do you mean by mastication? Whenever food enters into the mouth, food is cut and crushed by our teeth and is thoroughly mixed with saliva. This phenomena is known as mastication or this process is known as mastication. How many salivary glands are present inside the mouth? We discussed that we have 3 pairs of salivary glands. submandibular, sublingual and parotid glands are present. But here the question is how many salivary glands are present. 3 pairs means what is the number? 1 pair means 2. 3 pairs means total 6 salivary glands are present. Name the enzymes present in the salivary juice. There are 2 enzymes in the salivary juice. They are salivary amylase or ptyalin and lysosome enzyme is present. How can stomach gets protected from action of its own acids? The walls of the stomach secrete mucus, which protects the stomach from the action of its own acids. Carbohydrate digestion does not take place inside the stomach. Give reason. See, carbohydrate digestion do not take place inside the stomach because whenever food enters into the stomach, the gastric glands are secreting the gastric juice which contains hydrochloric acid, which makes the medium of the food, which turns the medium of the food to acidic medium due to the presence of hydrochloric acid. In the presence of hydrochloric acid or acidic medium, the enzymes which acts on carbohydrates will be very inactive. That's why carbohydrate digestion do not take place inside the stomach. What is the function of gastroesophageal sphincter? You know where the sphincter is present? At the end of esophagus and at the entry of the stomach, we have a sphincter called gastroesophageal sphincter. What is the function of this sphincter? It regulates the entry of the food into the stomach, which allows only a small quantity of food to enter into the stomach. What is the reason why a small quantity of food has to be entered into the stomach? In order to make the process of digestion very efficient, a small quantity of food will enter into the stomach. What do you mean by emulsification? So before going to digestion, fats, they are very complex molecules when compared to carbohydrates and proteins. They are the complex substances that has to be converted into simple globule-like forms, which we called it as emulsification. Which will help in this process? The bile pigments are helping in this process. Name the digestive juice which do not secrete enzymes. Bile juice. Bile juice do not secrete any enzymes. It has only pigments. Bilirubin, biliverdin and urochrome are present. They helps in emulsification of fats and removal of extra drug material, steroid hormones and fats, cholesterol have to be removed by the digestive pigments, like the pigments which are secreted by the liver only. What happens to food inside the large intestine? Large intestine, what type of food will enters into the large intestine? The undigested food will enters into the large intestine, because whatever food that got digested will be absorbed into the blood inside the small intestine only through the walls, because the walls contain small finger-like projections called villi. We call it as microvilli, which are richly supplied with blood vessels, blood capillaries. Actually, it's not vessels, blood capillaries and lymph vessels, which are 1 cell thick, can absorb the digestive food by simple diffusion methods. So that undigested food will enters into the large intestine, where the excess amount of water present in the large intestine get absorbed. The antibacterial enzyme present in salivary juice is, what is the antibacterial enzyme present in salivary juice? It's lysozyme. The movement occurs in esophagus is known as special type of movements, like possible by contraction and relaxation of the circular and longitudinal muscles, which we called it as peristalsis. You know, sometimes reverse peristalsis also occurs. You know, peristalsis means movement of the food from mouth to stomach. Sometimes if indigestion takes place, the food started moving from stomach to the mouth, which we called it as reverse peristalsis. In human beings, if reverse peristalsis occurs, we call it as vomiting, right? The The acid present in the gastric juice is hydrochloric acid. Gastroesophageal sphincter is present at the end of the esophagus and entry of the stomach. Give reason. The longest part of the alimentary canal is known as small intestine. Small intestine is known as the longest part of the alimentary canal, but it was calling as small intestine because its width is very less. That's why we are calling that as small intestine. With many folds, small intestine will be present as many folds in order to make the process of digestion very effective. Can hold the undigested food for a longer time. The movement of the undigested food outside of the body through anus is called its defecation or egestion also. Draw the flow chart of digestive system and draw a neat labeled diagram of digestive system. So this is the flow chart of the digestive system. So these are the questions can be asked in this topic.